Oh yes, we are back for another week of Peak Isekai with Eminence and Shadow, episode 2 of season 2. Now overall, I thought this episode was good once again. I was hoping to get some more OP funness with Sid and Shadow, but I assume he will get that in the next episode, unless he just already one-hit KO'd the enemy boss at the end of the episode randomly. Now this episode felt more as an setup episode than anything else. They sort of developed some storylines and explained some backstory of some characters. We got to know some more character motivations, and we finally get some character development for characters like Claire, who has been, until this point, fairly, I was going to say flaccid, but she's been a bit, not necessarily bland, but she just hasn't been given the time to really develop on screen, as she has just been more of a side character that shows up randomly but doesn't really do much or have much interaction or content tied to her. But that changed this episode, at least somewhat. We did get her and some dialogue of her in the last episode, but in this one, we actually get some pretty nice character building and progression that I actually really liked. So to just go into that quickly, we do find out that Claire, who still thinks that she is possessed, which harkens back to episode 1, episode 2 of season 1, when Sid basically went to rescue her when she was possessed, whatever, when she was kidnapped by these bandits, and of course she was cured, right, at that point, unless I'm misremembering. But Claire still thinks that she is possessed, and still thinks that she will eventually turn, and because of that, she wants to have Sid accomplish something, or help Sid get up to doing something, like get a good job, or a good position, or standing, or something, before she ends up leaving this world, turning into a possessed, and leaving him all alone. I thought that was a really nice reason for why she is so motivated, why she really pushes so hard for Sid to get into doing something. It's not just for herself or her own, let's say, position or anything else, but purely because she really cares for her little brother and really wants him to have something going when she is no longer there, or at least when she thinks she will no longer be there for him. This, of course, also brings us into the backstory of Mary. Now, I mean, of course, she's a vampire. I think that is quite evident. I mean, for goodness sake, she's using a sword made of blood. I think it's quite obvious that she wasn't a vampire from day one. But we do get a lot of interesting backstory of her and the queen and all of that. Not to rehash the entire storyline, but I did find it interesting how they went the route of, okay, the queen actually wanted to live in peace, but because of how things happened and the red moon that ruined everything, she ended up killing herself, or trying to anyway, and now we get the whole resurrection storyline. I assume the fiefdom they mentioned that she was in charge of, I assume that is the Lawless City, or what was before the Lawless City came to be. But then after, I assume, the monstrosity and carnage took place 1,000 years ago, it turned into the Lawless City and all that comes with it after that fact. Now, I assume they will do some sort of resurrection of her, not just end it how they did this episode, because we probably will get to see Mary sort of tying things up with the Blood Queen, Vampire Queen, and basically just solving that character storyline for her, as it would feel odd if they just let it still be half finished and not do anything more with it. I think that can be interesting to see Mary and the Queen talk it out and clash with each other somewhat and then come to an understanding of some sort. I'm also going to say I am somewhat happy that they had this tiny Yuri moment in this episode out of the blue. It's like, oh yeah, okay, Mary gets really hurt by the Juggernaut guy, so she's dying, or Claire thinks she's dying, goes to heal her, it's like, no, it's fine, I'm fine. I just need some blood. It's been so long. Because, of course, she stopped eating blood because of the whole backstory with the queen, such and such and such. And then, instead of biting her neck, which I assume is what they were trying to hint that she was going to do, she just gets some of Claire's blood by kissing her. Oh, I see. So, of course, Claire being understandably flushed. Like, what are you doing? But okay, that was cute. And then, of course, she, let's say, awakens her blood powers of some sort, even though it doesn't really work that well because I assume she's quite out of practice after having forgone blood for many years. I did or was wanting to expect more of a fight between Claire and, well, with Claire and Mary against some foes, for example, Juggernaut, but I suppose Juggernaut is too powerful for them to really fight in that way. So Sid ends up coming to the rescue as a shadow, even though he is quite clueless, and later in the episode is like, oh yeah, I think I saw my sister earlier. Huh, how odd. Even though I expected he actually came to the rescue, but I guess not. He just randomly came in to say his lines, as per usual, even repeating the same lines back to Mary at that point. It's like, goddamn, dude, you're keeping up with it. But yeah, I do hope that in the next episode, it looks like we might actually be getting a fight scene with Claire and Mary. Now, I'm not sure if Sid, as I said earlier, just one-hit KO'd this vampire MC boss guy with this one-shot ability, basically, at the end of the episode, just randomly. But if he didn't, I assume that Claire and Mary will have to fight whatever's left, which could be nice, because again, I do want to see Claire actually have like a proper, prolonged fight scene that actually showcases her abilities and shows her being badass, as we have gotten really nothing of that so far. She's just been like skipped over in those areas. And the whole connection and duality between Claire and Mary as well, I think, is fine, it's nice, and I'm happy if they keep building on that in the next episode or two when they start slowly clearing up and completing this Lawless City arc. Unless the arc is really long, I'm not sure. On a side note, I did just start reading the light novels, so hopefully by next week or the week after I will have caught up to the place there in the anime, and then I can start actually analyzing content they skipped or didn't include, and include that in my videos, or make a separate video on that with this show. I'm not sure if you would prefer if I just make one video where I analyze and compare things as I do the episode review, or if you would like a separate video of me just analyzing the differences in the story between the light novel and anime, of course with no spoilers outside what is already in the anime in terms of progression, and not going further in the story. Anyways, leave those in the comment section down below, what you would prefer. And of course, we do see Rose. Apparently, last episode I said Claire, but I meant to say Rose, being with Shadow Garden at the end of the episode there. And here we see her basically joining Beta and some of these other, like number 664, 665, or whatever they're called, as Beta is looking into possession and how that is tied to vampires having the same origin, etc., etc. Not quite sure where we're going with that, but okay, cool, interesting. And they have their little clash in the way with, verbal clash anyway, with Claire and Mary. And of course, Rose being very concerned when she thinks that Sid is kidnapped and going to be sacrificed. Of course, Beta has to basically calm her down. It's like, stop it. But again, that's cute, you know, seeing how Rose, even though she is supposed to, let's say, leave everything else behind when she became part of Shadow Garden, she still, of course, is very, very stuck up on Sid and, you know, the forever love they share, even though she's absolutely still clueless of his real identity, of course. I was somewhat hoping for, like, a small clash between Juggernaut and the Fox girl, forget her name, but we didn't really get any altercation there, so hopefully eventually we will get some sort of clash just to establish who's boss, being Shadow, of course. I also didn't expect the Fox girl to be in charge of the Pleasure District, but hey, guess she's just a savvy businesswoman. Have to make your money somehow, right? This show, though, what it does best, still, in my opinion, is just how goddamn entertaining and fun it is, and the meta jokes they pull, and just the parodies they put in, and whatever else. Like in this episode, for goodness sake, they put in a Van Gogh parody, or copy, saying, oh yes, here's this Van Gogh painting in the Vampire's Treasury. I have enough art, I don't need this. It's like, goddamn, dude, you really did just put Van Gogh in here. So there's no way. And then, of course, Shadow doing his whole, yes, I have been showing up fashionably late this past season. I guess this time I should just start a boss battle before the MCs arrive, and then they can be like, oh my god, he's so powerful, look at that. But I guess it ends up one-hit KOing the entire place when the vampire second-in-command there basically tries to resurrect the queen. We'll have to see if he actually died or not, though. Even though it looked like he exploded the entire top of this building. But okay. He was even in his, like, inner monologue, or outer monologue, trying to do the whole, oh, I'll resurrect you, and we'll be married, and it'll be great. And it's like, yep, here's Shadow, and boom, gone. All dead, all gone, as per usual. In the end, though, I did like that they spent some time in this episode to actually develop some characters, get some backstory. Like, again, I enjoyed Mary's backstory so far. Interesting enough. Happy to see the conclusion of that, let's say, story arc, character arc, in the next few episodes, potentially. And I did really like Claire's explanation of why she's doing what she's doing, and her character development, and explaining her character more, and her motivations. I think that might be my favorite part of the episode, just because we have gotten so little of Claire in season 1. So it's really nice to see her actually have these developments and explanations of why she is how she is in season 2. Overall, though, once again, absolutely great episode. I love Eminence and Shadow. It's my favorite isekai for a long, long time now. It's one of the best I've seen just because of how silly it is, but at the same time, how engaging it is and how much you really live yourself into the story, even though it is a parody in and of itself at many points. Anyhow, what do you think of episode 2? Like it, hate it, leave those comments down below, and please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to keep up on daily anime videos from me, as well as, of course, weekly coverage of Season 2 of Eminence and Shadow, as well as potential separate analysis videos of the light novel to anime adaptation of the show. And if you want to watch another video on episode 1 review from this full season of a show I am also quite enjoying, then click right here.